Hello, my Loop friends. I'm Alex, and welcome to the latest live Loopers video all about Koala Sampler, which is a complete and total mess. The video is the mess, not Koala Sampler. Koala Sampler is fine. It's as awesome as it always has been. This video... Hey, so a thing that I recently have noticed in recent Live Loopers videos is that anytime I talk about the drum module for Loopy Pro that Live Loopers has released, I quickly, as soon as I get the words out of my mouth that we've released the drum module, follow it up with the caveat, like, if you don't like the samples that are in it, then you can just replace those samples with some better samples, which leads me to believe that I myself probably do not like the samples that are in the drum module. And in fact, as a matter of fact, I am entering a new phase in my whole Loopy Pro development of my act and my music that I do, all this is for. I have finally finished the Loopy Pro template that I have been working on for so long that lets me translate my musical thoughts into, just lets me pop them right out there into the world. It's called the Phoenix template, and that's been going great for me. Now that I have the template that I have needed, I would like to concentrate on my second big, huge hope and dream of the future, which is to have just an awesome, wonderful, beautiful sample library full of great samples just able to be called up and deployed at will. And so, yeah, so those two things sort of hook up together. The fact that I don't think that the samples that we've published already are great, and the fact that I would like to start making a bunch of really awesome samples. A fun thing that occurred to me to do was a thing that I was calling March Madness, because here in the United States we have a thing called March Madness where all the college basketball teams, not all of them, just the 64 best of them, get together and they just have this huge playoff and they whittle it down until only the best are left, and then the two best like battle each other, and it's a huge cultural thing here in the United States. You know, the cream of the crop just rises to the top, something like that. So I had this idea. I am going to make 16 samples every single day in March, and then at the end of the day, or at the end of making that day's samples, I am going to only keep 4, and then I am going to delete the 12 that don't make the cut. And then, in that way, just by getting like the 4 best samples of the day, every day the cream of the crop will start rising to the top. And like at the end of the month of March, I will just have some like great samples to pick and choose from, and then I will definitely be able to put together, you know, a series of 32 pads, which should be easy because I have so many great samples of just the best samples, and just make you know, package of 32, and then I'll put out a better drum module for Loopy Pro that will have great samples, and then won't have to say anymore, like, you know, you could just replace these with better ones. That was a great idea, right? So what had happened was, it was round about the 7th day of March, and I had not started recording this video, and I had made no samples. 0. None. So my awesome plan that I had in February was, to put it mildly, at the risk of unraveling. So, I made a deal with myself, because I do that often. I made a deal with myself saying that, okay, don't even start the video, don't worry about that, just start making the samples, okay? Just start, take a baby step towards the goal. So, I started making some samples, made some samples like, you know, several days in a row, and then what had happened was, I noticed that I was making a big pile of samples, but I was not picking 4 best, and I was not deleting the rest. I was making generally about like 14 samples a day, because in Koala Sampler it helps to have like 2 blank samples to... Don't even worry about that. But I was not making 4 best and then, you know, deleting 10 to 12 others. No, I was just amassing huge, unlabeled, unsorted, unorganized pile of sounds, all the while hoping that I would start recording this video sometime soon. So then what had happened was the whole month of March came and went, and I made a lot of samples. I made a lot of wonderful sounds that I enjoy, but they were not organized, and I certainly didn't have any 32 best or anything like that. I just had piles and piles and piles of Koala songs filled up with samples, just crammed in there this way and that way and sideways, and it just was like a closet that you don't want to open. So I am going to totally organize those samples and pick the best and label them and get them in some kind of usable order for public distribution. But first, I think maybe it would be in order to just sort of switch gears a little bit and show you a little bit of my sample making process, so you can get a sense of what the last month-ish or so-ish has been like-ish. Hey my Loop friends, sorry about this, but change of plans again. I did in fact make a window into my process showing you how I made the samples that I made, and made a nice beginner-friendly Koala tutorial for anybody who is interested in that kind of thing, but it made the video way too long by a lot. So I have separated that out into a second video. Here is a card to that second video. Both videos are releasing on the same day, so you can watch both, or you can watch the one that appeals to you the most. So that is a cool insight into my process of how I made these piles of sounds. After that, I went and made a time-lapse kind of a thing of me going through the piles and piles of sounds to come up with the 32 best. That part of the video is not all that exciting as I watch it back in the editing process either. Let's just skip it. Let's just jump right to the end where I have the 32 sounds that I'm rolling with, since I have them already. And let's just, my Loop friends, I present to you for the first time, available on liveloopers.com, available as a Koala song with 32 sounds in it, or available as a Loopy Pro module with 32 sounds in it. The Koaloopro, you know, we take Koala and Loopy Pro, Koaloopro module, and release that to the public. So it is available now for anybody who wants it, and here now is a demo. The first 16 samples are samples from when I was striking all kinds of objects and things, and then manipulating them and mangling them until they sounded like different kinds of stuff. This one sounds kind of like this. And the second group of 16 is stuff that I made with my mouth at some point during the latter portion of March. So the options are many. You can just finger drum with those. You don't even have to finger drum into a looper. Most finger drummers don't drum into a looper. And Koala has its own sequencer thing that I don't use because I love loopers, and I love, you know, playing finger drum segments into a looper and then switching over to some instruments and then just like jamming out. But you know, there's a whole world of things that you can do. So do it. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you want to subscribe, you can join this massive number of subscribers that keeps growing every time I look down there. And also, if you want to come chat with us, we have a Discord server with a link to it in the description below. If you have any questions, I am happy to answer any questions you have in the comments. And loop on!